Hello everyone, it's Wednesday and here we have a new update bringing us some new features to the game. As you can imagine, it's going to do with firefighting and with the rails. The update today is simply called The Update, but it brings us quite a few new things, including a new firefighting outfit with a self-contained breathing apparatus. This is very reminiscent and realistic of actual firefighting kits that have respirators and things, and the idea here is that when you go into a sealed compartment where there's a fire, the fire will consume the oxygen and you can continue to breathe in there. So it says this outfit provides the ability to breathe in these smoky spaces. Then we have another thing that I've been talking about for quite some time, the release logic node on train wheels. You can actually dismount trains and stock from the tracks. This is huge. I've been talking about this, like I said, for quite some time, and we now have this ability. Now it gives us the ability to lift trains between tracks, move them onto ships. It says other players interested in making trucks can ride the tracks. So what's cool though is that this opens the door to getting other updates for the rails, such as rails as an inventory item where the train can pair onto, let's say, a barge, and you can actually place it down on the track of a barge or an oil rig or whatever you want, and it'll almost act like magulls. So that's really neat. Then we get this. Many more of the animals and creatures can be carried. So that's pretty cool. And we also have a new preset of trailer and new fire missions. So if we scroll down here, you can see that it gives us the firefighting outfit. It lets us release the train wheels. And then it says the majority of small, medium, non-hostile creatures can be carried. We got the new trailer present and new fire missions for new game locations. It gives us some other fixes. We're not going to go through that here. One of the things I'm super excited for is to fix up my high rail truck. This is one of the first, if not the first, Alta road vehicle I ever made, and you can see it has a mechanism to deploy the track, but it's never worked properly. You can see I even put some pneumatic pistons to try to force you off the track, but it didn't work until now. So later on in the video, we'll be cleaning and fixing this up. Over here we have the Alta Sight fire truck. This is already out and I've already updated it. This creation is live with this new firefighting kit. So it gives us the ability to breathe in places that are contaminated. And now to address the elephant in the room, can you use this as a diving gear? Well, clearly you can. Here we are underwater, and finally now we have the air in the bottom right corner being consumed. You can see it's slowly moving, and what's really nice is that when we're out of the water up here, that air is not being consumed. So I'm thinking that it only comes on when you are in a space that requires it to be on. So otherwise you're not actually using that oxygen. I'd be curious to know if it has the same amount of damage it could take from a fire, but pretty much it has the dual purpose. And I'd say it's a great thing to have, a great addition to any firefighting kit. To gain access to the new firefighting kit, you just got to type in fire and you can find both of them. Here is the old one. When equipped, it absorbs 95% damage dealt by fires. This one, it says, it'll also absorb 95% of damage dealt by fires while also providing breathable air. The air tank can be refilled by storing the gear in an outfit inventory unit, and you can see that it comes with the node fluid in. So when you do want to charge it up, you'll do the same thing you do with your diving suits or scuba suits. You see how they come with that node. You got to put it onto a pump and have the air pump in. Just keep in mind that not all of these large slots have the fluid in. So if you just go ahead and put in the equipment, you can find large equipment inventory here, and we can find the small one as well. But what about the outfit one? Well, it does not come with the fluid. So you just have to be careful if you are trying to place slots on your creations. You got to actually use the actual one or a diving one, because they actually come with the input for the fluid. Here we are in a sealed up hangar, And if I throw some of these grenades here at these engines in attempt to make them catch on fire, you can see now they are burning. And over here, we are getting a lot of carbon dioxide, and it's consuming that oxygen. Now keep in mind, we are in a huge hangar, a huge space, so there is a good amount of oxygen to burn. But as the fire continues to grow, this type of suit would become more and more useful. Now, at what point does the suit kick on? Maybe once we have a certain level of the room with carbon dioxide. You can see again in this space it doesn't really come into effect, but of course we still have the 95% of the damage that is helping us survive rather than getting damaged ourselves. So I'd say this suit is the better one out of the two. Obviously it gives us dual functionality. On to the train portion. If you type in train, you get all these wheels, and take a look. All of them now have the wheel release functionality. So these ones aren't wheels, but all of these, every single one gives us wheel release. Huge win, huge simple add-on for Stormworks, just giving us that much needed feature to allow our vehicles to kind of be interchangeable, move them around. It's kind of how the whole Stormworks is based on. You can create, you know, now a train that goes to space, or a train that's also a boat or ship, whatever. It just gives you that extra functionality that we really love about this game. It spawns it in the sense of being a on-off node right here, just like I mentioned actually. So if you find my videos where I'm quoted, I say that just having this will give us so much more functionality. Well, now what if on our train we go ahead and connect the wheel release to something? Let's take a look at what seat input isn't being used. 3. All right, wheel release. I'm just gonna go ahead and connect the 4 wheels to seat button number 3, and I'll make it a push. Now if I'm just sitting here and I press 3, boom, train dropped. It is no longer attached to the track, and it seems the second I let go right now, it's already attached. How does this come into play as we are moving forward down the tracks? So let's say we're moving down the tracks like this, and I do want to get a little bit more speed just to actually see, especially in a turn. Like, are we going to careen off, or are we just going to stop right on the spot? Now keep in mind that this train does go relatively fast, so here we are at 100 kilometers an hour, and if I hit 3 in 3, 2, 1, boom. Alright, so it didn't slide around or skid, it just kind of dropped right on the tracks as an object and ended up breaking the wheels. So definitely don't want to use it to like fling yourself off unless you already have probably upward thrust. Here we are with the high rail truck. As promised, we're going to do a quick update. Now keep in mind that a full update of this whole truck and giving us a new version will come in form of a new vehicle, but for this case, rather than this whole high rail system that has these twisters and the pneumatic pistons, all I need are the lift pivots. So once this is turned on, it's just going to have simply a pivot moving it. Now we don't need this whole thing. You can see it's a big microcontroller that I previously made. No, all we need is the ability to lift up those to lift up the front and rear mechanism when we press the button. So I just went ahead and deleted that whole thing. I'm going to add a very simple knot function here, because the knot is what is going to be pressed on the button. I don't want it to enable the rails on default spawn. And then we're just going to put a door. Now the door is a simple switch box. It's not actually a door, but pretty much when I press my button here or key here, it will turn on this, it'll turn on this. This knot will go to the wheel release on the front and back. Amazing. And this pivot will go to my front and back pivots. Now the pivots themselves, default is this, which is rail mode, and when they're not being used, they actually have to fold up, which is in the negative direction. So if I go in here, when they're on is going to be 0 because we want it to stay put, and when it's closed, I'll go with negative 0.5. So that should lift them up off the ground nicely. Now we don't need any of these pistons. This is a whole thing that did not work. And one thing I also don't need are the twisters. You can see here we even have these twisting pivots, but what I will do is leave them, however, unattached to the electricity. Oh, it's robotic. So I'm going to remove that altogether. I don't want the robotic. I just want the velocity one, and I don't want it attached to the electricity. It's just going to allow it to kind of move around without being stuck on the track. You'll see how that works once we hop on in the truck. Alright, truck is here. You can see that these things are lifted. Keep in mind they're heavy, so remember what I taught you about if we have something heavy in the game and it's not working properly, you gotta add weight. The weight is actually making our joints stronger. So in this case, this was unable to lift up the rail. And I'm gonna do the same modification here and here. And that's pretty much going to give this joint a little bit more strength. Hopefully enough. If not enough, then I still have to do some other work. But that should be okay. You could see this one weighs 200. So this is really severely underweight for what we need it to do. Actually, I can put another weight front and center there. And I'll put another... Oh. Never mind. Can't put the weight there. We'll see if this works. Spawn this in. Not really. Well, you can see the joint is struggling. Even if I jump on it, it's going to kind of flop around, I suppose. Now it does have the ability to move left and right, which is actually very good for us. Now if we hop on into the truck, because the rails are so heavy, they actually function like they kind of weigh the truck down. But point is, now we have the ability to move ourselves around. Now keep in mind this truck is also manual because it's not one of my updated ones, so it's kind of very standard and basic. But let's align ourselves with the track here, and if I press this and drop that down, boom, we are attached, folks. After like 2 years, finally we have the ability to have a proper working high rail truck. And you can see the joints, they're kind of functional because they're moving around, allowing the track to move the truck in the direction it's going rather than being stuck in a constant forward direction. Now say we want to get off the tracks. I know we can't really climb up over this there, but if we press this, now we're back on the road and we are no longer linked to the track system. So again, this vehicle will be updated after this video. It's not very good in a sense that it's way too heavy for its own good, and I'm gonna have to do something, but I'll do that in the new version. This one is good as it is. It's functional, folks. Look at that, last updated in 2023. So now we can actually add ourselves the updated version of this, and funny enough, it's kind of a train. I'm gonna go ahead and put land and train, and we can remove the outdated just because it is functional now. Granted, outdated. The word that everybody requested I use is legacy, so it's kind of like a creation that's still good, but it's not quite up to date with my modern creations and microcontrollers and functionality. Inside the workbench, if we go to load and presets, you can see the preset semi-trailer. Now here it is. This is a huge step in standardization. We did not have any one single official unit for semi-trucks until now, so this gives you the good starting point for making any of your own creations, whether you take this and modify it or whether you just do it right away. You could see in here we have some microcontrollers, simple trailer controller, and it's attached to all kinds of things. You even have reverse lights that this one doesn't have, so you can make your own official style trailer. It's using the SIBTAT system, and my system is interchangeable with it, by the way, the HGS system, but SIBTAT is the official one of the game now. Last but not least, we're going to be testing this animal idea. So who can we pick up? We're not going to be testing all of them, but let's add a couple. Now remember, they got to be non-hostile, so we can't do bears and sharks and such, but let's just see what type of creatures we can do. Now I have a vested interest to try to pick up a penguin. We'll see if that's possible, but we're gonna give it a go. We've got a large variety of different animals here, including Yetis and Sasquatch. I don't think we're gonna be able to pick up a deer, but we can give it a shot. Just scrolling through here, we got a bunch of sheep. We got all the way at the bottom tortoise, that's the way. Crocodile, that could be nasty. That's probably a hostile one. Zombies are for sure hostile creatures, but what about some friendly pigs? And what about some wolves? Probably aren't too great. The penguin, perfect. Alright, here are these creatures. Oh, hold. I got it. I had a tortoise. It's kind of on my head, a little bit glitchy, but there it was. Sheep. Nice, on our back. Fantastic. Pig. Yes, we got the pig up. Oh, the penguin is making a break for it. What about this thing? The seal. No. Nope, not interactable. Where is that penguin? It kind of ran underneath. Oh, there it is. This actually helped. Got him stuck. Nope, cannot pick up the penguin, unfortunately. What's over here? Badger. We got the badger. Oh, I wanted to hold the penguin so bad. That was kind of the only... That was the one I wanted. Come back here. No, it's not letting us. Now what about a larger animal such as the deer? Nope, we can't pick up the deer. So, I'll let you test that out on your own. I mean, this is a good pose, and you can see it's working quite well. So I imagine it would work with the hares and all the other kind of animals. I guess it was just Easter, so let's pick up a hare, kind of like a bunny. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I do want to give a huge shout out to all of my supporters. Thank you so much for being a part of the community, for supporting me, and hopefully you enjoy all the perks that it has to offer. So that is the supporters, my Discord server boosters, and my YouTube members. Those are my supporters. And I do want to thank each and every one of you. Stay tuned for more creations, for more videos, and for all kinds of fun stuff I have planned. Until next time, happy Stormworksing, everyone.